Listen up, because this might be the most important thing you hear all year. You ever wonder why some people just seem to win in life while others are stuck in the same cycle year after year? Why some people rise to the top, dominate their field, build wealth, power, and influence, while others just talk about it? The difference isn't talent. It's not intelligence. It's not even luck. The difference is execution. See, most people talk. They talk about their dreams, their goals, their big plans. They tell the world what they're going to do. But talking isn't doing. Winners move in silence. Winners don't announce their plans. They execute them. Because the moment you start talking, you're already losing, you're leaking energy, you're inviting doubt, distraction, and resistance. You're feeding your ego instead of feeding your success. The second you open your mouth, you start feeling like you've accomplished something, but you haven't done a damn thing yet. The world doesn't reward your words, it rewards your results. Talking about your goals tricks your brain into feeling accomplished. The mind is a powerful thing. It has the ability to create, manifest, and achieve incredible things, but it also has the ability to deceive you. When you talk about your goals, share your ambitions, and tell people what you're going to do, your brain starts to believe you've already made progress. It gives you a false sense of accomplishment. Think about a time when you told a friend or family member about a big dream. Maybe you said you were going to start a business, write a book, lose weight, or master a new skill. The moment you spoke those words, how did you feel? Energized? Motivated? Excited? That's because your brain rewarded you with a little dose of dopamine, the same chemical that fires off when you achieve something real. This is the problem. Your mind doesn't fully differentiate between the high of announcing something and the high of actually achieving it. Talking about your goals gives you the illusion that progress is being made. It tricks you into thinking you're on the path when in reality you've barely taken a step. That's why so many people love planning but never execute. They enjoy the feeling of talking about success more than the grind of actually achieving it. People who constantly share their goals tend to fall into a cycle. They talk about their plans, feel good for a moment, and then lose motivation because their brain has already given them the reward. Without that hunger, without that real drive, they never push themselves past the discomfort required to make those goals a reality. Weeks pass, months pass, and nothing changes. Then they come up with a new goal, announce it again, and the cycle repeats. On the other hand, high achievers don't talk, they act. They understand that success isn't about intention, it's about execution. They keep their goals to themselves, channel their energy into action, and allow their results to do the talking. Silence is powerful. It creates focus. It forces you to work without the external validation that dilutes your drive. When you stop telling people what you're going to do, you remove the safety net of approval. You take full ownership of your progress. You're no longer performing for praise. You're working for real, tangible success. Think about the most successful people in the world. They don't go around making loud announcements about what they're going to accomplish. They just show up, put in the work, and let the world react when the results are undeniable. That's what separates the talkers from the doers. The more you talk about your goals, the less likely you are to achieve them. The more you seek recognition for just having an idea, the less energy you have to execute that idea. And when the execution stops, the dream dies. The solution is simple. Keep your goals private. Let them be your own silent obsession. Use that energy to take action rather than feed your ego. Don't let your brain be fooled by words. Let your results be the only proof of what you're capable of. Validation from others kills your hunger for real success. Validation is a dangerous drug. It feels good in the moment, but it weakens you in the long run. When you constantly seek approval from others, you become dependent on their praise instead of being driven by your own internal fire. Social media has made this worse. People announce their plans online and get instant gratification. They post about their goals, their ambitions, their new chapter, and within seconds, they receive likes, comments, and messages telling them how inspiring they are. But what have they actually done? Nothing. They've just talked. And that's the trap. The moment you receive validation for something you haven't actually accomplished, you lose the hunger to chase it. You feel good without having done the work. It's like eating empty calories, momentarily satisfying but completely useless in building real strength. People who rely on validation get stuck in a cycle of seeking approval rather than results. They constantly look for people to reassure them, to tell them they're on the right track, to clap for them before they've even stepped on the stage. They need external motivation because they haven't built the discipline to fuel themselves. But real success doesn't come from applause. It comes from grinding in silence. It comes from doing the work when no one is watching. It comes from pushing forward without needing anyone to tell you that you're doing a good job. Look at the greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the people who truly dominate their field. They don't care about validation. They don't wait for approval. They don't ask permission. They're too busy executing. They're too focused on getting better. They don't need someone to tell them they're great because they are too obsessed with actually becoming great. When you stop seeking validation, you take back control of your drive. You stop depending on other people's opinions and start trusting yourself. You build inner strength, the kind of strength that doesn't need applause to keep going. Validation is a distraction. It takes your focus away from the work and places it on perception. It makes you think about how you're seen rather than what you're building. The moment you stop caring about how others view your progress, you unlock a new level of discipline. People who chase validation never reach their full potential because they are too busy looking around for approval. The people who achieve massive success are the ones who put their heads down, do the work, and don't stop until they get what they came for. So stop looking for applause. Stop announcing your plans. Stop waiting for people to tell you that you're on the right path. Just walk the path. Let your work be so undeniable that by the time people notice, you're already too far ahead for their opinion to matter. Action speaks louder than words. Results are what matter. People talk all the time. They talk about what they're going to do, the changes they're going to make, the big goals they're aiming for. They say things like, next year I'm going to start my business, or I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. But how many actually follow through? How many people take real, consistent action toward those goals? Almost none. Because words are easy. Action is what separates the dreamers from the doers. The problem with talking is that it creates a false sense of progress. When you tell people your plans, you feel productive. You feel like you've already taken a step forward. But in reality, nothing has changed. You haven't put in the work. You haven't faced the obstacles. You haven't built the discipline required to succeed. Talking about something does not make it real. The only thing that makes something real is execution. Look at the people who have achieved massive success in any field. They are not the ones constantly announcing their plans or making excuses. They are the ones taking relentless action every single day. They understand that success is not about talking, it's about doing. It's about getting up early, putting in the work, staying focused, and pushing forward no matter what. People respect results, not words. Nobody cares about what you say you're going to do. They care about what you've actually done. They care about the book you published, not the one you said you were going to write. They care about the business you built, not the one you talked about starting. They care about the weight you lost, the skills you mastered, the things you actually accomplished, not the ones you had good intentions about. The world rewards execution. It doesn't care about effort. It doesn't care about intentions. It only cares about outcomes. That's why so many people struggle. They think effort alone should be enough. They believe that because they tried, they deserve results. But effort without execution is meaningless. It's not about how hard you try, it's about what you actually produce. The people who win in life are the ones who stop explaining and start. They don't waste energy convincing others of their potential. They just get to work. They take action day after day, even when no one is watching. And when they succeed, they don't have to say a word because their results speak for themselves. Most people live in a cycle of excuses. They tell themselves they'll start tomorrow, next week, next year. They convince themselves they need more time, more motivation, more information. But the truth is they just need to start. They need to take action now because the longer they wait, the harder it becomes. The more they talk, the more they delay. Action is the only thing that creates real change. If you want success, you can't just talk about it. You have to do the work, push through resistance, and make it happen. You have to be willing to sacrifice, to stay disciplined, to keep moving forward even when it's hard. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is results. Winners don't announce their plans, they execute them. The people who achieve the highest levels of success don't waste time making announcements. They don't tell the world what they're going to do. They just do it. They move in silence. They put in the work when nobody is watching. And by the time people notice, they've already won. When you announce your plans, you invite unnecessary opinions, distractions, and expectations. You give people the chance to doubt you, to question your ability, to offer their unsolicited advice. You open the door for criticism before you've even taken the first step. And all of that noise can shake your confidence, slow you down, and make you second guess yourself. Winners don't need validation. They don't need approval. They don't need people to believe in them. They believe in themselves. They have a vision, and they focus all their energy on making it a reality. They don't waste time explaining. They don't look for applause. They just work. The reason silent execution is so powerful is that it keeps you focused. When you don't announce your plans, you eliminate distractions. You stop worrying about how people perceive you, and you start concentrating on what actually matters. Progress. You put all your energy into action instead of performance. You stop talking and you start doing. Think about the greatest success stories. The people who made history, who changed industries, who built empires. They didn't go around telling everyone what they were going to do. They simply put their heads down and did the work. And by the time the world found out, it was already too late to stop them. Execution creates momentum. When you take action without making announcements, you build power. You stay disciplined because you're not relying on external motivation. You stay committed because you're not performing for an audience. You become unstoppable because you're not seeking permission. You're taking control. Most people waste time looking for recognition. They want credit before they've even started. They want people to acknowledge their potential, to validate their ambition, to cheer them on. But winners don't care about that. They don't need anyone to believe in them because they believe in themselves. They don't need a crowd to cheer for them because they are too busy running their own race. When you announce your plans, you create pressure. You put yourself in a position where people are watching, waiting to see if you follow through. And for most people, that pressure leads to hesitation, fear, and inaction. They become so worried about failing in front of others that they never take the risks necessary to succeed. But when you execute in silence, you free yourself from all of that. You give yourself the space to make mistakes, to adjust, to grow without outside interference. You don't have to worry about proving yourself. You just focus on improving yourself. And when you finally achieve your goal, the results will be undeniable. Winners understand that success is not about making promises. It's about keeping them. It's not about telling the world what you're going to do. It's about showing them what you've done. It's about moving forward relentlessly, regardless of who's watching, regardless of who believes in you, regardless of whether anyone is paying attention. Because in the end, the only thing that matters is execution. The world rewards execution, not intention. People have good intentions all the time. They plan, they set goals, they talk about what they're going to do, but intention alone means nothing. The world doesn't care about what you were planning to do. It only cares about what you actually did. People respect results, not ideas. You don't get rewarded for having potential, you get rewarded for what you produce. Everyone has ideas, everyone has dreams, but very few take action. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple: execution. The person who takes messy, imperfect action will always be ahead of the person who sits around waiting for the perfect time. The world doesn't owe you anything for wanting something. It doesn't hand out rewards for effort. It only gives results to those who earn them. Every single person who has ever accomplished something great had the same choice: talk about it or do it. The ones who win are the ones who choose action over intention every single time. Energy spent talking is energy wasted. Put it into doing. Every time you talk about what you're going to do, you're spending energy that could have been used to take action. Talking makes you feel like you're making progress, but in reality, you're standing still. The more time you spend explaining, announcing, or seeking validation, the less time you have to actually build, create, and execute. Real progress comes from action, not discussion. The most successful people in the world don't waste energy telling people what they're going to do. They don't drain themselves by constantly explaining their next move. They conserve that energy, focus it, and use it to take relentless action. If you want to succeed, you have to learn to redirect your energy away from talking and into doing. Every time you feel the urge to explain your goals, stop yourself and take an action step instead. The people who achieve the most are the ones who put every ounce of their energy into making things happen rather than talking about them. Discipline and commitment create undeniable success. Talent is overrated. Motivation fades. The only thing that guarantees success is discipline and commitment. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It's waking up early when you're tired, working when you don't want to, and staying focused when distractions are everywhere. Commitment is making a decision and sticking to it no matter what. It's not about how you feel in the moment. It's about staying the course even when things get hard. The people who win are the ones who show up every single day regardless of circumstances. They don't rely on motivation because they understand it's temporary. They train themselves to take action no matter what. Success isn't an accident. It's a result of small, consistent actions repeated over time. The more disciplined you are, the more unstoppable you become. When you combine discipline with an unbreakable commitment, you remove excuses, eliminate doubt, and make success inevitable. Silence builds power. Results make the loudest noise. Silence is a weapon. The less you talk, the more powerful you become. When you keep your plans to yourself, you protect your energy and stay focused. Talking about your goals exposes them to doubt, negativity, and distraction. It invites opinions from people who don't understand your vision. But when you move in silence, you eliminate outside noise and concentrate on execution. Power comes from results, not from words. The loudest person in the room is usually the weakest. Real power is built in private through relentless effort and discipline. When you work in silence, you create an element of surprise. Nobody sees you coming. Nobody knows what you're building until it's too late to stop you. By the time they notice, you've already won. Success makes the loudest noise and it speaks for itself. The people who achieve the most are the ones who don't waste time announcing their plans. They put their heads down, do the work, and let their results be the only proof they need. Stop seeking approval, seek achievement. Most people waste their potential because they are too focused on what others think. They want approval, validation, and recognition before they've even done anything. But approval doesn't create success. Achievement does. Seeking approval makes you weak because it puts your self-worth in the hands of others. It makes you dependent on opinions instead of results. The people who achieve the most are the ones who don't care about external validation. They don't need encouragement, applause, or permission. They focus on the work, not the recognition. The moment you stop worrying about what others think, you take back your power. You stop hesitating. You stop doubting. You put all your energy into execution instead of explanation. Approval is temporary, but achievement lasts forever. When you seek achievement instead of validation, you become the kind of person who gets results, no matter who's watching, no matter who believes in you, and no matter what anyone else says. Action is the only language success understands. Success doesn't care about your excuses, your intentions, or your potential. It only responds to one thing: action. No matter how much you plan, how many ideas you have, or how much talent you possess, nothing matters unless you execute. Action is the great separator. It's the reason why some people succeed and others don't. The people who take action, even when they're unsure, even when they're scared, even when they're not ready, are the ones who make progress. Every moment spent thinking about doing something is a moment wasted if you're not actually doing it. Success rewards those who move forward, who take risks, who refuse to wait for the perfect time. The more action you take, the more opportunities you create. Every step forward builds momentum, and momentum is what leads to breakthroughs. If you want success, you have to speak its language. You have to show up, put in the work, and prove through action that you're serious about winning. Let me tell you something. The world doesn't owe you a damn thing. It doesn't care about your ideas. It doesn't care about your potential. It doesn't care about how badly you want it. The only thing that matters: action. Move in silence. Execute relentlessly. Stop talking, start doing. If you want to separate yourself from the pack, you don't need more words. You need discipline, commitment, and results. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful. Power is built in the dark. Success is earned in silence. And when you win, your results will be loud enough for the whole world to hear. Now, if this hit you hard, if you know it's time to step up, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and join the movement. This is Tony Robbins' track, where we don't just talk about success, we live it. Now go make it happen.